Real Music exclusive.
I grew up like a savage.
That is crazy. So, but you never performed the song with Yuck and Numb either.
Never, except for one time. There was a
We talking about I Got Five on it, y'all.
there was a rap battle going over in Sweden,
Okay.
and they got invited. I saw Dub C there. I met Dub C.
Okay.
First time there, and a couple of other artists I had never met. They were there for this event, and so I'm in the crowd, and I'm supposed to be performing with my boy Crypto and the people who I came with, and I'm in the crowd waiting for our time. And then I hear that very familiar boom, boom, and I was like, oh, they about to play Got Five on it. And I get into the room and I see Yuck, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to see. So I got up in there and they was like, who is that? And then he looked up, he's like, Meezy. And so then it was cool. But the audience, they had never seen it with me, so they couldn't hear me when I was singing because they were too busy saying bitch. They could not hear me.
Man, you know what's crazy? I was gonna ask you about that because so me and Chuck, Chuck, shout out Chuck Johnson. We talked about he said he seen you at High Road Day, and so he said, damn man, it'd been dope if you could have got up there, because I recorded the whole thing and put it up. Like it just was a beautiful day, like to see Yuck and Numb after they shit, and
they were there too.
They was on stage. No, not High Road Day, but Sobe Day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
People
if you
ask me
could
about
have
that.
did that hook, it would have been crazy. But then immediately my mind went to, but it's kind of like they filled Meezy's spot up with bitch.
From the
So it's everybody
way
say
back.
I got five, but everybody can't wait to say bitch.
Yes.
And I'm kind of wondering what that would be if you singing.
I was up there excited to do my part.
So
my
they
very
said
first
they were saying
time.
bitch overseas.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes, my nigga.
They think that's a part of the song.
Yes, that broke my heart.
That's crazy.
I'm like, so they've never seen me, so the only way that they know to do it in that part from all the shows that they did is right there. You give a vigorous bitch.
Yeah.
It was like, who's that dude over there? Okay, that's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
I got five on it, and then they turned to damn bitch, and they're not into me no more. That was the last
what would have to happen is a rehearsal and be like, look, we got to get Meezy the solo to just.
Or at the beginning.
I think at the beginning or the end when the
it needs to be said.
It needs to be said.
I need to be introduced to them so that they can see and appreciate it.
Right.
Other than that, I just look like another dude who's coming up there.
Yeah, but that would be amazing.
I'm still waiting for it. We're not too old and we're not dead.
Yeah.
For us to perform together, and there is no issues with the youngsters.
Right.
I don't have any issues with the rappers.
Right.
Sometimes Yuck hears these interviews that I do, then he'll go and retort back.
That's why I'm making sure that I'm being responsible, because things have been tangled and twisted on this show, and it ain't for that, man. It's really for people to get an understanding, because at the end of the day, man, there's hella shit going on in the world.
Yeah.
We black, y'all niggas made history together. Y'all should be, you know what I mean? Y'all should be getting all the benefits and getting all the perks.
Appreciative of each other.
And appreciative of each other. Like, that's something that song is so big and fucking huge. It's the biggest rap weed song ever.
It's the weed anthem all over the world.
All over the fucking world. Like, that is amazing to have.
Remember when we were younger, one of those radio stations in Frisco used to play every Friday. I smoked 2 joints before. I smoked 2 joints.
Yeah.
We surpassed that.
Oh, way.
We surpassed that.
Way
and Mary Jane.
All of that shit.
Yeah. This
all
is the
of
one.
that shit. Like, I Got Five on it is the one. And what's so crazy is we speaking of the times, we speaking of post G-Thing video. So we speaking of Snoop coming with this fucking weed hat and saying, I smoke, this is chronic. And then y'all go do songs bigger than all that.
Yes.
And it's just like, God damn, like it's crazy, like especially in the weed world.
Because those kids spoke so plainly about what it was in their verses, and then my summation of all that, because I've been to the Red Fence millions of times.
Yeah, right.
That's how we got our weed.
Right.
Nobody had $10 on their own. If you had $10, you couldn't spend it all on weed. You need some homies so we can go in on this 1 gram, and we're going to smoke that to the head, and we're going to be cool.
I don't know if you ever heard it, but I talked with Numb about it, and I think Yuck spoke on it before. A lot of people online love that version. It's another version of it where they're just rapping about that same thing you saying, being broke.
Yeah.
Nigga, I got $2.
No.
I got no, nigga,
That's
like
the
that
version
doobie.
I had.
Yeah, that's the version
That's
you
the
had.
version I had.
Okay,
I heard
yeah.
all of them,
Yeah.
but that was my best version.
Yeah, yeah, I like
think
that
I got
version.
$2 in my sock.
Right,
Nigga.
that
Well,
was-
that's
oh,
enough.
man.
Enough to get a fat sack.
That's the one,
that's
yeah.
the one.
And that was the Luniz that I liked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That very playful thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what was great about them. Legendary time.
My favorite song by them still to this day is Rescue 911.
Yeah.
That's a dope
Yeah,
ass song.
dope ass song.
Dope ass
And here's another thing too. You on 5 on it, but on the same album on Player Hater, going that short, they say you spreading faulty rumors around like
Yeah.
Club Nouveau.
Yeah.
So they had it confused.
They had it confused.
Everybody did. Even if you Google it,
Yeah,
like
no,
it's
to this day.
confusing.
To this
Like
day.
it's put up as you could say either one,
Yeah.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
so people know Time X Social Club, but that was the huge record. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know exact sales and which record was bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I think Time X Social Club was
Yeah,
bigger.
yeah. They had a lot of more pushing. It was early on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't rap.
It
so
wasn't
there's still
rap.
some stigma to rap back then.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And that's why I wanted to bring up that New Jack Swing thing too, because I wanted to ask you, was you inspired by the rappers in
Yeah.
short? Because it sounds like, you know, when I think of it, I'm like, damn, he's singing, but he's doing the shit they do now.
Yeah.
Like,
Back then, they thought it was rapping. For a while, this was under the rap category.
okay,
Until I started pushing back on it. I was like, I'm singing, guys.
right,
And he's like, well, you kind of singing like it's Jamaican, and they rap. And I
Right.
was like, man, if there's a melody in it, I'm singing, bro.
right, right.
So
It-
from then on, I wanted to make sure everything else had a full show of
Full-
me singing.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, for sure, they was like, oh, I love your rap and rumors. I was like, man, I'm singing.
I'm
bro.
singing, yeah.
I'm not a rapper.
When did you have your sobriety, or like what was rock bottom? What was so this 5 on this shit happens, you know, it's a huge success. It goes all over the world. It's 3-4 times platinum.
Yeah.
How did that? You know, you get mad, you angry, you on dope, you looking for Chris. You know, you feel like you done been fucked over again. What was actually rock bottom?
I had a moment of clarity.
Okay.
So the guy who I used to get high with, my enabler, right? We enabling each other, and I have the money. He was having a baby. He had just got married, so he wanted to quit. So he went and found some help.
Okay.
He went to a doctor, psychiatrist. His parents were rich.
Okay.
But he was adopted. So he got something called Wellbutrin. And so I was living with him, right? Working at the Y and, you know, chipping him off a little bit to stay at his house. And mostly it was because whenever he wanted to get high, I could be close by.
Okay.
So he, like I said, he's having a baby and he wants to get married, so he wants to quit. So he starts taking this stuff called Wellbutrin.
Okay.
I borrowed his bike one night, and then I didn't come back home with it. Instead of just telling him that I tricked it off, I lied about it. So he was, you know, he's gamed up. He know me.
Right,
All
right.
You can't come in here until you go get that bike. I was like, oh, okay. So I went out and did some elaborate ass shit with the police, cut myself with
Yeah,
a knife
yeah,
and all to say I got
yeah.
robbed for the bike and the whole
Right.
thing. The next morning, we went to go get coffee like we normally do, and he's like, bruh, you're doing too much. You want some help?
Right.
Man, I broke down crying. I was like, fuck yeah, I want some help. I don't seem like I can stop. You niggas seem like you can turn the shit on and off.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I'm yelling at him and all that. But yeah, he started having me take those pills. Man, I got so fucking clear-headed. Wellbutrin is something to balance out your dopamine and the other one.
I have never heard of this shit.
Yeah, Wellbutrin, boy. It had me feeling good. My balance was back. I was giddy. I was happy.
Okay.
So I was clear-headed. I ran into my wife, asked her to marry me. I'm about to get married.
Okay.
A nigga freaked out. You about to get married? Where you gonna get money from? What you can't do the same thing you're doing now. You in love, nigga? You tripping? So I'm like, damn. And this is a high school sweetheart too, and I lost her for years. And then I
Right.
got her back, and she wanted to marry me, and I'm about to marry her as a drug addict. I was like, come on, man. So that fucked with me. So I went on like a 5-day binge. She couldn't find me. She finally came home at the right time, and I was at the house, sleep with the thing in my hand, right? I just passed out. She came in. You want some help? I was like, yeah. She said, I don't know what's going on. I thought it was a bitch because we had a fight. She
Right,
thought that I
right.
was fooling around. So I had
Right.
to tell her in the heat of the arguments, no, the bitch is crack.
Right.
And she
Right.
was like, whoa. And so she's got cousins who are going through that, older ones. So she's known about it for a long time, how to wiggle it and how
Okay.
to. So she took me to get help. And so my rock bottom was my fiance walking in the house, waking me up with the pipe and the torch in my hand. I'm laying there.
Damn.
It was too much. So once I went to the recovery and got the information, because again I thought I was weak because I couldn't, but to find out that it's a chemical balance thing. If you get yourself down too low, you can't fight off that urge because it's a chemical urge. And if you don't feel good about yourself, why would you?
That's the science in it we need to learn more about.
And your body wants to feel good. Your brain wants to feel good. It doesn't want to be sad. It doesn't want to be hurt. So it'll protect itself any way it can. Once I got high that first time, I never felt that high again, and I was chasing it.
Right.
It went up and up and up and up, the amount that I would get, trying to get that very first feeling, the one that sat me down.
Right.
Made me start sweating.
Right.
I had to go shit. Couldn't talk for a while. That only happened once.
Right.
Because once it did like that and came back here, it never goes even. So you're always going to be off. And the more you use, it gets further and further apart.
away.
My shit was like this. And I got it back to this, and then I took it back out there again. Anyway, got the help, and man, I never looked back. Once they told me that it's not your fault, you're not weak, but here are some tools you can use, man, that was a wrap.
When did you not need the pills no more?
Oh, that's what it was. I stopped taking those because I thought I was cured.
Yeah.
And I crashed. That's what it was. All that giddiness I was feeling.
Was
I
you able
stopped
to get them
taking
on
it.
your own now?
I wanted to, but then once I got into recovery, it's like, you don't need those.
You don't need that,
You don't need
yeah.
those. Just get your balance back, and then you'll have your own joy. You'll be giddy again. Because I was like, that shit used to make me happy, and I haven't been happy in years.
Right.
I was laughing at shit, cracking jokes, talking, wanting to go do shit. I was like, I haven't been like that for years. It's like, it'll come back. Nigga, once I got sober and had those 30 days in, it was all back. I immediately started thinking, oh, the money I've been missing. And then my wife's a former IRS agent. She was
Okay.
like, you got a lot of boxes of paperwork downstairs. This shit look like it might be something. She finds all the contracts, all the
Wow.
agreements. So I've been locked back in since 2004, getting publishing and all that stuff, whereas before I wasn't.
Right.
I didn't think I had a right to it.
Right.
Didn't think I could fight for it. And again, I'm scared. I'm thinking that CNH or Teddy Bohannon them is going to come try to do
yeah.
something to me.
You but the you said you dealt with a lawyer that you knew,
Yeah.
right? I heard that story, but you got to a point where they said take the money that you're gonna earn from this day forward and not the back pay.
Yeah. So my buddy,
Because I just didn't understand that shit. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
a guy from Philadelphia I met in Berkeley when he came to college. His parents are law professors at Haas in Berkeley. So when I was firing my manager, he's the one that showed me, your manager works for you.
Okay.
I was like, really? He said, yeah, bro. And then he said, get your bank statements and let me look at them. So when I got that, he's like, see, he's taking money here, and you're signing for it. Did you know that? And I was like, no. He's like, look at your account. It's dwindling. It's almost nothing. He said, you got to fire him. So he's the same guy whose parents told me about lawyers who can try to get my situation straight with BMI.
Okay.
Right? Because BMI wasn't putting my 10% up online where people who are researching to see who they have to pay to use the
Right,
stuff.
right.
They didn't have my name. It was just 10% unknown.
Right.
So no one knew to look out for me. So when I went in and argued for it, these lawyers had BMI agree to do it from this moment on. And when I argued, how come I can't go back? Because they've never sent me an invoice. And the law says if you don't have an invoice,
Right.
then your statute of limitations clock doesn't start
Right.
until you get that invoice. So they still owe me millions of dollars, but my lawyers were also their lawyers. So there's a conflict of interest. So I walked out of that meeting of them saying, sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I wrong? They would never say, no, you're not wrong. They just wouldn't say anything. I was like, but it's true that my statute of limitations hasn't ran out, right?
Right.
And they were like, yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't. So then I left there like, okay, well, I'll take what I can get.
So
And-
so you had to sign off on something.
yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Not really sign off, just accept what they were given
Take
and
it
not
here, from
push it.
here. Yeah. Which was right on time for
was perfect.
So with this motherfucking fly. So what's the time with us?
That was while I'm up north. So me and my wife are separated, right? And I'm up north in Mendocino growing weed.
Wait, by the way, 2004.
Yeah, that's when we got married.
So you also missed out on like when Puffy sampled it and all of that stuff. Well, that wouldn't your voice wouldn't have been on that.
But
so
still, the royalties came.
The royalties came.
They came to me.
Oh, so you did get those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time anybody used it.
Okay. Okay.
Puffy and the other girl, J-Lo.
J-Lo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all came.
So now that this movie drops, because when you was talking about earlier making the beat over
the melody
for the Luniz,
yeah,
I was telling Tone Capone I didn't hear that at first, right?
Mm-hmm.
The creepy part,
the creep on him.
but Jordan Peele hears. But now that I think about it, I always felt it felt eerie.
Yes,
like man, this is kind of like something is coming.
Yeah,
that's how I always felt, right? But it went so perfect with the shit. Like it was just like
when we did the song in the studio at Tone's house, when we did the rough, it was fine. You know, that melody has always felt kind of creepy to me. That's my melody. When we went to Pajamas in Oakland to do the final thing, Teddy Bohannon's there, Chris Hicks, they both got on these fucking white bulletproof vests.
Mm-hmm.
It's the summertime. So now they got their shirts off because that's making them sweat.
Right.
They got big ass guns. There's rounds of ammunition in the lab where I'm singing. Just mob dope shit, right? Mm-hmm. So when I go in to do my part, that thing, it starts off, boom, boom. I'm like, ooh, it's kind of, boom, we kind of spooky.
Right.
Creep on in.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we about to go do something.
Yeah.
That's the kind of vibe that was in the hallway.
Right.
So yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, man.
That's a trip that he heard that though.
Yeah, that is a trip. Like, you know, and then what did he turn around and he did something like that with another song?
Oh, he did Beyonce's.
Which one?
One of her songs, he slowed down and took the music out and did her voice like he did mine.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. It's not Nope. It was the one in between, before Nope.
Then he turns around and uses E40. That's crazy too. Like,
oh yeah, the choices.
Yeah. But so when you knew that this was coming, right? And have you ever met Jordan Peele?
No, not to this day.
Did you get invited to the premiere?
Yes.
So you got to go to that.
I got to go.
Was Yuck and Numb there?
Numb was there.
Numb was there.
Because Yuck had went to the one that was in like a major city, like New York or something.
Okay.
And he had the suite and the whole thing, and it was a party. It was a release party.
Okay.
He was at that.
Okay.
So me and Numb weren't at that.
Okay.
I don't know if Numb got invited or not, but I wasn't invited.
You wasn't
so
invited.
I was making sure I was going to go to
Get
the
invited to the next
premiere.
one, yeah, for sure.
What had happened was I'm living up north in Mendocino growing weed, and I came down for a meeting with my ex-wife, right? We separated, not divorced. For a meeting with her to try to get back together. So we have a good talk. We go out to dinner and the whole thing. And I'm driving back up feeling good and giddy. My phone is just blowing up. I'm in a bucket.
Right.
So it's not connected with the Wi-Fi. So I'm like, I can't reach over and look at it.
Right.
I get back home and everybody's talking about, did you hear that? Right about, and they're sending me links and I push it for the commercial and I was like, oh shit, that's my voice. What is this?
Right.
So then I call April. I was like, what do you think this is? She's like, I don't know. Well, we about to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just reached. Oh, so I'm online because I can't get through to Jordan Peele.
Okay.
So I'm on Twitter hollering, Jordan, please, this is Michael Marshall, the voice of I Got 500. Please reach out for me.
Right.
And turns out that they're about to release the movie and they think they got all of the paperwork in. But that 10% I told you about that said unknown, BMI still hadn't made the correction.
Oh.
So they thought they had did everything that they needed to do. They had to fire their music director because I came in with a position of power where I could have shut the whole thing down.
Wow.
And they were afraid that that's what I was going to do. But I was, and some of my folks who know me, they're like, Mike, take it easy, bro. This could be
Let this
lucrative.
happen.
I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not mad, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to know. And so Matthew Cherry, he's from the Bay Area, and he works for him at Monkey Paws. He hit me. He's like, bro, I'll put you in touch with him.
Yeah.
He put him in touch. The new music director called me. We got all the paperwork sent to them. It was good.
That's great.
It was good.
Man, that's great. And I'm sure you get a good check from that
Yeah.
every so often.
Yeah. Oh, but you know what? They're holding it up a little bit because of, Congress still trying to figure out how they going to do this fucking streaming shit. You know what I mean? From Pandora and all these, what you call them, it takes a certain amount for you to even get $1. That shit ain't right. And I think they just adjusted it. So that money's been put like in escrow until they figured out what that is. But when it do come, I'm retiring.
Damn.
I'm done.
So I wanted to bring up this song too. So Well, let's talk about some of the songs that those. Do you remember any of the ones that people might remember from the Keek the Sneaks and the songs that like the ones that was more notable?
Well, yeah, we did Riding Around in the Sunshine. Riding Around that was with Keek and them. And then there was another one I did with them. Oh, In the Name of Rain.
In the Name of Rain.
In the Name
Y'all
of
got to
Rain.
know that was Mike Marshall, In the Name of Rain,
Yes.
man.
Rain Man.
A song that sticks out to me is So Young, So Sweet by San Quinn, because that song made it to the radio too.
Yeah.
You
want to hear a crazy story about that?
I think I know the crazy story.
I'm trying to get on the radio for forever, and they won't play my stuff. But then I do this song with San Quinn for my album. They get wind of it from Quinn, and they put it on the station saying it's San Quinn featuring me. And they feel free about playing it. They're not tripping. But when it's explained to them that it's me, they stop playing it. It's like they have a innate hate for me.
Right.
I don't understand that.
So you had to, did they ever switch that? Or is that still your
They
song?
just stopped playing it. It's still my song.
So
It's on my album, Love, Lies, and Life. Now, Quinn, doing the street gangster shit, he took the MP3 that I sent him because I mixed it and I wanted him to hear it. He went and took that and gave it to his folks, and they put it on the record. That's how niggas moved back then, though. I'm not mad at him, but that's how it worked.
They all blue.
I'm just trying to stay racked up like you.
Put an 8 in a 1 and do magic. Tryna stretch hair on like elastic. Eco-friendly drug dealer, I don't waste no plastic. Use all 4 corners of that baggie. All I ever wanted was a bankroll. So I pull up on Champ before the bank close. Say no to stank hoes and stank clothes. No paramedic pimpin', nigga, we don't save hoes. Yeah, rest in peace to Lil